I don't know about all of you, but I'm on fire today. I'm in the midst of having a most extraordinary day today. And nobody, nowhere can stop me from having this extraordinary day. It's going to be one of the greatest days. So I say to young people all the time, therefore, and I say to us here, we've got to ensure that we are encouraging young people to read. They've got to read, 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 and read. They chuckle because I say that during my morning announcements every day. They've got to read. So we have got to inspire them to read. We've got to encourage them to read. We've got to encourage them to pick up a book, pick up a newspaper, and read it on a regular basis. Now, with these few minutes, I'm going to be talking about young people. I'm going to be talking about leadership, but I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on the male. Now, it was also said that President Obama, I'm trying to get out of saying this Barack Obama thing, right? I want to be respectful. That President Obama gave this speech the other night. That speech, and stay with me, cameraman, because I feel myself getting ready to move around. I told him, because he knows I move, and I said I got a podium, so I'm straight. But now I don't know. So with the speech the other night, you know, we've seen so many of his speeches. And I know there are different ideologies in here and different political affiliations and so forth, but I'm not talking about the party. I'm just talking about the man in the context of what this month represents. So I listened to the various speeches. I listened to the speech the night he was elected. It moved me, as all the speeches did. I listened to the inauguration speech with my entire school. That moved me as well. But it was something about Monday night that was different. Let me tell you what I mean by that. I got home, I raced home to get home by 9. My son was in the other room. He was text messaging. I said, you're going to close that up right now. So he came on in the other room and he sat down with me and my wife and we started watching the speech. And as you remember, those who watched it, the sergeant of arms was calling out different people. I said, yeah, this is different. So not different in the context of that's what's done, but different because Barack was somewhere in the back. So President Obama. So I'm waiting in anticipation because I know what they're going to say. So finally that moment arrived and the man came out, and let me step from this thing here. And he said, Madam Speaker, the President of the United States. I looked at my grandmother's photo because you know it's up there on the wall. I know what she would have been feeling. So you saw Barack, he came walking out there. Right. Right. I will never forget that. Because they talk about how I walk. You know, I'm born in East Orange, I'm raised in East Orange. I haven't gotten that stuff out of me. I can't, it's how I walk. I don't know nothing else. So my kids at the school, they get on me about it, talking about swagger, all this kind of stuff. And you know, Barack, President Obama, he got the same swagger. So he brought that swagger to that hall that day. And I said, man, this is just out of sight. So I sat there and I watched it and I'm feeling good about what I saw. But I knew that I was going to be coming here and I was thinking about how I want to tie this in. So I want to put this in the context of history. That minute hand will probably say 6 in a little while and I'll be done. And then we turn the program back over. See, we can't even talk about President Obama and appreciate President Obama, and we talk about leadership in young people without giving context to President Obama. See, we can't do it. Because see, when I'm sitting home and I'm watching these things and I'm crying, and when my wife is sitting home crying, and when you all are sitting home crying, because I know some of y'all cried crocodile tears on November 4th, right? See, my emotional day, I was giving a speech out in Denver the week before the election. So I went to a basketball game because I'm a basketball junkie. So I went to a game and the stadium is literally right across the street from the arena. So, and that's the stadium where the Democratic National Convention was held. So as I'm in line waiting to go in, I'm just staring at the stadium. So after the game, I go back to my room and I got the stadium on my mind. So I put on some Sam Cooke on the laptop. And man, did I have a Holy Ghost party in that room by myself. I just couldn't control it, so I said, I'm not going to try to. I'm just going to let it rip. And that's what happened. So that was my emotional night. Now, my kids didn't get to see that, but I called them a little bit later and I told them about it. And then I sent out an email blast, you got it, and told everybody, I'm up in here having a Holy Ghost party about future President Obama. So now we talk about this context. Let me take you back a little bit in Black History Month. See, you can't talk about Barack Obama without talking about Fannie Lou Hamer. See, you just can't do it. And when we talk, and I know some people say, oh, who is that? And I understand that. Carter G. Woodson wrote the book, The Miseducation of the Negro. So we don't expect folks to necessarily be educated because we know that we go through this miseducational process. So here we've got this black woman named Fannie Lou Hamer. And here she's the child of sharecroppers and became one herself. And she decided down in Rouville, Mississippi, that she wanted to organize black folks. She wanted to register black folks to vote. Because during that time, we're talking about the 60s, late 50s and 60s, black folks don't have the right to vote. So she wants to get them organized and registered to vote. And for those that don't know, as a result, she was imprisoned. And she was placed in a cell. This is a woman, you may know this phrase, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. She was the one that coined that phrase. So they put her in a cell, and they got 2 black inmates, males, and they were instructed or directed to beat her. So what they did was they beat her. They kicked her in the mouth, the teeth, the eyes. She lost her vision in one eye and had permanent kidney damage. But once she came out, she continued to fight. She didn't back down. So when we talk about a President Obama, we cannot forget a Fannie Lou Hamer. But then also, when we talk about an Obama, we can't forget about Medgar Evers. Because Medgar Evers, one of those M's, when we talk about Martin and Malcolm and Mandela and Marley and so on, well, there's another M, Medgar Evers, who also down in Mississippi, field secretary for the NAACP, who was organizing, registering black folks to vote as well. So then one night on June 6, 1963, he's coming home and he's murdered in his driveway as he's walking up the driveway, and his wife was an eyewitness to this. So he lost his life, but here's a man who gave his life, who devoted his life to registering black people to vote. So we can't talk President Obama unless we pay homage to these others who came before them. And then we look at Freedom Summer, 1964, when people went from all over the country down into Mississippi to once again register black folks to vote. People like Cheney, Goodwin, and Schwerner. People like Bob Moses and SNCC and so many others who risked their lives, lost their lives, so that one day President Obama can become our reality.